Hey guys, today I'm doing a game review. I've got a match that I played against Kodov a little while back. Kodov Syndrome's a famous C4 player, very strong player. You see him in the arenas all the time getting podium finishes, so strong player. So we're expecting C4. We don't get it. We got G3 as an opening. I tend to play B6 against G3, and then C4 does come out. So I'm kind of a normally against C4 I'm playing B5 D6, but I'm already kind of a move behind, so I decided I'm gonna play C5 instead, kind of expecting to see a little trade action happening, and sure enough that happens. This probably isn't the greatest position for me, but I figure, alright, we're kind of early in this game, we'll just see what happens. He goes and brings his queen out. Kodov's really good at queen racing. I can't queen race here. I don't have a piece that I can, like my queen's blocked in here. I can't come to either of these two squares, and coming over here is not gonna do anything because that square is super covered. So kind of looks like he's just gonna be coming down here, attacking on A7, where I'll have two pieces attacking on A3. So I decided to then just keep pushing my C pawn, basically looking to put a pin on his white bishop, at which point, like, really he could move that pawn up and kind of be fine. So it's not really a huge threat, but we see the trade of pieces that I mentioned, and in this position I can take with either the pawn or the rook. I like to ditch my pawn and kind of leave, or ditch my rook and leave this pawn pinned here, so that maybe I could attack his A2 pawn with the rook lined up for a double kill. He goes ahead and he moves his king over, so he's looking at that same thing, so he can line up for a double kill. So I go ahead and open up my E pawn, and basically I'm threatening this little sequence here, which then also lines up for a double kill, which I don't know if that really accomplishes too much, but it's a bit of a threat. So he goes and pushes his G pawn to get rid of that. And now I'm kind of looking at, all right, what do I want to do? I don't want to get my queen out quite yet, so he's threatening to push that, which he's probably not going to do that either, but we'll see. So I was like, all right, let's just get rid of it and trade it up, because I know he can't now push his E pawn, because then his bishop's coming out, and I'm kind of threatening to come up here towards his knight. So he continues with his original plan, threatening on B2. And then this is where I'm kind of looking at this. I still have the pin on this bishop, and I bring my queen out to G5, and that kind of puts a little bit, if he decides if he wants to keep pushing this, I can grab this free piece, and then he's going to have to capture here, which technically it's covered by my bishop, but I can come here with my queen, which if he takes with his bishop, then he's got multiple captures. If he retakes with his knight, I end up coming back up here, and then this space is double covered, and I'll show that. So I guess we could do that. If he comes here, I go here, we trade these pieces around. Whoops, we grab this one first. So if he grabs with his knight, I can come up with here with my bishop, and then this is what I'm talking about, where this space is double covered and his bishop is still pinned, and I'm also threatening this. So it's not really position he wants to be in. So instead he brings out his knight, which is covering this piece, but not really, because I've got this piece here. He's kind of just in a bad spot, really. Actually, right here, this is mate for black, which again in this particular position, I didn't realize it was mate. I was just like, all right, I'm trying to trap his pieces. So he brings out his knight, and I capture, and he realizes, all right, he can't capture with his knight because then he's got a bunch of kills lined up. So like this position looks like it might be safe, but then this is also something that I'm looking to do is intermediates, and so I'm looking at, all right, what can I do with his knight? I can come up here and grab it, and then it's a common intermediate like formation that I'm looking at. So if I just let me pull these back, I'm just looking at the squares that his knight can attack, and end up using what's called a waterfall intermediate. And so basically what I'm looking at is like, all right, how many squares can I get his knight to go? So if we go here and he comes down here, then I'm looking at his knight can go here, 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 and then all the way over here. So I'm like counting, all right, how many captures can I do to make that happen? So when I'm in a game, if I've got time to do it, I'll count them out real quick. So I say, all right, if I'm gonna go here, so he goes here, I've got my bishop in another common intermediate line coming out here. So then he's gonna attack here, I'm gonna come up here, then he's gonna come over here, and then this is the waterfall where the rook comes all the way up here to take a piece, and then I know I still need to get one more capture, which I have right here. So his knight will then come here, and then my rook can come over, and then he's making that last capture, and then my rook has multiple spaces to capture. Like, it's just gonna be mate for me. So we kind of go through this exercise. I pull the trigger, and now we're in a spot where really I think I can capture his bishop and get his rook, or I can just come over here. I've got his bishop pinned. There's all kinds of positions that I can grab, and then he resigns in this position. I've got I can just come here, and his knight has to, or his king has to capture, and then his bishop's already lined up. My king's only one space away, and I can also then push my pawn up to get killed by his king. So that's basically the game. I was kind of just wanted to show that waterfall intermediate technique. It's very common when you see, if we come back to, let's see where we at. Nope. If we come back to this position, and I want to go just say this, it's clean. Always just looking to see, like, when a knight attacks here, if you can get an intermediate, you can get it to push over to this space, and depending on what's going on, like, your bishop can slide up here and his rook's covering that space, or if that rook's gone, you look to see like what other spaces that you can be having. But kind of running the knight through the corner and then over to the bishop is one of my favorite things to do. And sometimes, like, so if the rook's up here covering it, you would want your king kind of out of the way so that like he stops on the bishop over here, and it doesn't have nothing to recapture it, so then you're free to run his knight through your pieces. But so that's the game. We'll do more in the future. Thanks. See ya.